Giggles back at you again from SFNEOnline, and of course the host of your weekly video podcast, The Grove Show. Now in this video, yes, it's one of our final haunt reviews, and this one is about Six Flags New England's Fright Fest. So we're going to talk about all the good, the bad, the ugly, the awesome, and so on and so forth. I'm going to try and make this video not forever and a day. So before we get into it, just make sure that you know that we rate everything on a 1 to 5 Jessica Zombie head scale, 1 being awful, 5 being amazing, and everything else in between. And also don't forget, if you're new to this channel, make sure that you click the subscribe button, click notifications so you don't miss any content, and click like, share, comment down below, especially at the end of the video when we ask a question. And we'd like it if you could comment down below with your answers, and that'd be great. So let's get on into this. All right, so everybody knows that I've put out a lot of videos to do with Six Flags Fright Fest, between, you know, like the, what do you call it? The Trick or Treat Trail, the Awakening, Graveyard Groove, vlogs, the guide to everything you need to know about Fright Fest, and so on and so forth. So that way you'd have all that information. So what we're going to really do is, because we didn't really dive in and go, hey, we like this, and we rate this, and we do this and that. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So, and you're also going to see visuals of different things, so you know what I'm talking about. So let's kick things off with scare zones. For those that don't know what a scare zone is, if you've never been there, scare zones are different areas. They're not haunts, but they're themed up to different themes. Like when you walk in the park, there is Slaughter Hollow, and you know they have Undead Alley, they have Carnival, they have Demon District. So you know they got a bunch of different stuff, and we're going to talk about that right now. So my favorite right now for the scare zones is Slaughter Hollow. One, because it's new, because it used to be the Main Street Graveyard, so it's nice. Plus, they have like, you know, like crosses set up with old rides that are no longer in the park. I just like the lighting that they have overhead. I like all the decorations with everything. You have to look. You know, they have like a blacksmith, and then they got like a butcher shop. And they got some other stuff. They got these like tall pumpkin, creepy looking figures that look awesome. The characters that are in there interact really well. Especially like it seems like the end of the night where it really comes alive. I guess because everybody's leaving, so they're trying to get everybody out. So that's my favorite. My least favorite would be Demon District. It's located in the DC hero area by Superman. It's just weird. It doesn't fit that area just because it's Superman. I mean, maybe it could, I don't know, but it just to me it just doesn't fit. I don't know if it's maybe time to retire that scare zone because it was in another place. It was over by what is now Gotham City. Maybe there's a new idea to come out that could come out, because I know there's a lot of like themes that they haven't used, you know, that they could potentially, you know, they've done Aliens, now they got the Carnival over in front of like Joker and Harley Quinn, which is great. Undead Alley's over by Pandemonium, and that one's great. But I think I honestly say Demon District is the worst one, and I think it's time to retire it and come out with a new idea. I mean, there's millions of ideas. We could go on for days about ideas for different scare zones and what to fit in that area. And actually, if they're going to put a scare zone down there, I would say make the scare zone go in the ramp area. I'd say close off the stairs. Forget the stairs. Close them off. Make people walk through, and you can have a lot more people. You could have more actors over there. It's a little bit more darker, and it can be creepier than what it is. Like I said, it just doesn't fit like what's going on over there. So there's an idea. So now let's move on to shows. They have a show over by the Kidsopolis Theater. I forgot the name of the show. I haven't checked it out. So that's something definitely for kids. Another thing for kids is the Trick or Treat Trail. If the donation's $1, the money goes to a charity, and then you get candy. Adults can do it, kids can do it. I did it, and it was pretty neat. So for shows, the 2 things that I know, well, 3 things, and they're definitely not to miss. You have the Awakening. And that happens at 6 o'clock, and that's when like everything goes crazy. That's what like the official start to Fright Fest. Mayor Slayer comes in, and all the monsters come, and then they get released out into the park, and it's pretty cool. The next show, definitely not to miss, one of my favorite shows there, period, is the Graveyard Groove. Groove. They have all your different, Dracula, Wolfman, like a Frankensteinish monster, the graveyard guy, Doug, that's the keeper of the graveyard. You have the Cleopatra, and they take basically modernized songs, change them to what the graveyard stuff, and it works well. It's got a great backdrop, and it's awesome. They do a great job. I hope they don't get rid of the show. The only comment I have about this is they've done this for 2 or 3 years, and I think now it's time to switch out the songs, like just do new songs, so it's fresh and new. I mean, the show's awesome regardless, even if they did it another year. I'm just hoping that, okay, you've done it for 2 or 3 years, change the songs up. I think it's time that it needs to change to get a little fresh. You give it that 2 or 3 year cycle and then switch the songs up. Then maybe go back to those songs down the road. Again, kind of like a comeback, like anniversary thing or something. And that would be cool. Now, the other show that you should not miss, period, is the Creep Show Freak Show, another one of my favorite. I don't know if you know what a freak show is, but sword swallows, fire breathing, all kinds of weird oddities and stuff like that. The sword swallowing, the mouse trap, the walking on glass, the fire. It's an awesome show to definitely take in. It's family friendly. I love it. They do a wonderful job, and I'm glad that it comes back year after year because it's just simply amazing. Now, there's another show up in the Tombstone territory over by JB's and Goliath roller coaster. They have Mort's Used Coffin show, and that's pretty entertaining. Entertaining. So if you're in that area, go ahead, by all means, check it out. It's pretty cool. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing any other shows. I don't think so. And yeah, those are about the shows, and I definitely dig the selection of shows. They do a really good job. I mean, they put a lot. If you think about all the work for a park of that size, and they keep changing with the seasons, whether it's the right opening, like the the spring season, then it changes over to summer, and then it changes over to Fright Fest, and now that they have Holiday in the Park, so things gotta they're always on the go. These poor people don't get any time off. Well, they get time off, but they just go. They're always busy, trying to get to the next season, already planning everything. They're already planning Fright Fest next year, and they're already working on Holiday in the Park this year. Then while that's going on, and they worry about Holiday in the Park, it's just an ever-ending cycle of what's going on. They do a lot there, so they put a lot of hard work in. With a limited amount of time that they do, it's pretty good. They do have some great merchandise. You can see right now the shirts and stuff that they got, which is pretty neat. I bought a shirt. I'm a sucker for cool stuff. And they got, don't forget, they also have the rides too, that they have Voodoo Vortex, which is, what do we call it? Voodoo Vortex is the Kon-Tiki ride. And then they have the teacups that are, they enclose them, and then they put music and the strobe lights and the other lights in it. A Pandemonium zombie coaster, and that's pretty cool. And so they got the rides. So you got rides, merchandise, scare zones, shows, and now we're going to get into the haunts. Now, a lot of people are very critical of the haunts, myself included. The problem that I have with the haunts at Six Flags is it's always the same, and they don't change enough, so then it becomes boring. But they changed Wicked Woods this year into Twisted Tales, and I loved it. Then you also have Zombies Revenge. You have the Forgotten Laboratory. You have Slasher Circus 3D, and you have Midnight Mansion. Midnight Mansion's like the classic, haunted mansion type haunt. And then you have the Slasher Circus 3D, which is a 3D clown haunt. You have the Forgotten Laboratory, which is a Forgotten Laboratory. And you have Zombies Revenge, and it's a zombie-themed haunt. Now, I'm going to go through each one of these really quick, and then we'll give the rating, and then we'll do whatever. But, so let's start out with Twisted Tales. Twisted Tales is based on, the Three Little Pigs and Little Miss Muffet and the Seven Dwarfs and stuff like that. And I thought they did a really good job. Problem that I have with the haunt is, one, it's too short. Two, the pacing sucks. We were bumping into other people, and I hate bumping into other people because it ruins the experience. Plus they actually, it's not only the pacing in that time, it was the grouping. There was 10 alone in our group. They added us to like 4 to 6 more. So having 14, 16 people in a group is bad, because if they're walking really fast, we see all the scares. They should like let them go and then let us go after, I think, and then maybe hopefully the pacing was good. The haunt and the theming on it is pretty decent. Is it like crazy theming like Hollywood? No, but it is awesome. And when you actually have a good experience on it, when it's not on a busy night, you can actually appreciate the haunt more. It's tough when it's a busy night. They just got to get the people through, and they need to work on pacing and grouping. And then I think, one, their haunts would be highly regarded a little bit better. To the next haunt, we would go, what do you call it? Zombies Revenge there. I'm a big fan of zombies. I like what they did. But this time, there was a lack of actors in it when I went. And that kind of took away from it. Usually there's like a guy in a tower shooting a fake gun. And there's usually more zombies nipping at you and doing stuff. And then there was only a small handful of actors, which took away from it. I don't know if they were shorthanded, people called out. Life is life, and I get it. I mean, they put a lot of work into the haunts, and I know that, and I'm not taking that away from them. It's just, there's just like little things that if you're catching the idea, that need to be fixed. I mean, all the stuff they have laying around, the theming and all that, great. It's good stuff. They have some great effects in the zombie haunt. Same thing with the Twisted Tales. I'm not taking that part of it away from them at all. Then you have Slasher Circus 3D. That had plenty of actors. I love it because it's the 3D haunt. Seeing all the cool stuff. I love it. And then Forgotten Laboratory. Forgotten Laboratory is really my least favorite haunt. It's just weird. It's been through so many iterations. It used to be total darkness. Then for a little bit, they had like this cool interactive flashlight that worked. Like it was programmed to work from scene to scene and do different things. And that was cool. Then they got rid of that, and then it became, I forgot what it was, and then they changed the name because people were complaining they didn't want to offend anybody, so then it became the Forgotten Laboratory, and then it did that, and then it's just kind of like a lost incarnation of itself. And I mean, there's a lot of cool props, a lot of cool theming in it. It's just a weird haunt, and I don't know if it's just like I just don't feel that haunt. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's my least favorite. And then finally, you have Midnight Mansion. Midnight Mansion actually takes over the Houdini ride area and building and the old extended queue. Like I said, that's like the typical old, typical Haunted Mansion type thing. I love the theming in it. That's probably like their top-notch themed haunt right there. I love it. There is a storyline to it, the haunt, and I don't know the full storyline to it. They were talking about when we did a behind-the-scenes thing over the weekend. And, the actors were doing a great job in there. So we had a lot of fun. So overall with the haunts, I would rate the haunts probably a 3 out of 5 Jessica Zombie Heads. And the only reason why I do a 3 out of 5 is because pacing is an issue. The haunt lengths are kind of short. And I'm not exactly sure if it's, because it costs extra to do the haunts. It's not included with your ticket. So obviously they got to pay for it, so they have a bunch of haunts. They have 5 haunts. Now, would it be wise, and let me know down below if you agree or don't agree. Would it be better to, say, take Twisted Tales and Zombies Revenge and make that one haunt and just name it one thing? Have maybe just make it all Twisted Tales? Go back to one long haunt? And then where Slasher Circus and the Forgotten Laboratory is, maybe just make that Slasher Circus 3D and make it bigger and better. Like, I feel less is more. Like, if the problem that I have with haunts in general is when they're too short. It's like, oh, we paid this money, and then it's like, you really have to, like, make sure you go through them all at least once, maybe twice, to really, like, felt you got your money's worth out of the haunts. Now, I'm not knocking they put a lot of work in, and like I explained earlier in the video, they have to go through a lot. They don't have, like, this, like, 100 employees just dedicated to Fright Fest. Would be cool if they did. But I really think that maybe condense the amount of haunts and just make, like, you have your Midnight Mansion, you have your Slasher Circus, and then maybe, like, Twisted Tales. You don't have to, or unless you can make the haunts bigger. The problem is, like, 5 or 10 minutes is honestly weak for any haunt. Like, I think any haunt should be minimum 20 minutes. Especially if you're going to wait. Like, the wait times over the weekend were horrible. It's busy. So it's, to us, even the VIP line was, like, really long. It was crazy. And we were waiting 20, 30 minutes in a VIP line. So imagine what the regular line was like. So if you get what I'm saying, I feel that there should be, per haunt should be like 20 minutes a pop. Now, I know it's my opinion, and you can go tell me to pound sand, but that's just how I feel. And I'm not trying to, like, dog Fright Fest. I'm not trying to dog all the hard work that goes in. It's just my opinion, what I see, and what I think they can do to fix it. So, one, to fix the pacing and grouping issues. I would say go from 5 to 3 and just make, like, the 2 down in the Picnic Grove that you would make longer and better. And I think at the end of the day, it would be a lot better. Like, then you could have a quality control, a better product, and I get it. When you're so spread out like that and doing all that stuff, trying to maintain an awesome product is tough. Fright Fest, for the amount of money that you spend and you get and the value, there is value there for the haunts. I mean, I know a lot of other companies don't charge for their haunts, and that's their thing. Six Flags does. And I just hope that, they just keep experimenting and trying things. Because that's what they do. They try things out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's why I love what they do. Like, I love Six Flags New England. I feel like it's like going to Cheers where everybody knows your name. They treat me very well. I treat them very well. I give them my honest opinion, but I don't just dog them. I say, hey, look, here's some issues. Why don't you try this, this, and this? Tell me to go to hell if you want, but that's just what I do. I'm not trying to be mean or a jerk. I'm giving my constructive criticism on you have a pretty damn good product, but your haunts need some work. And I know it's tough with what you have, and I know it's a tough thing to do. And between there are some actors that aren't as good as others. Some just kind of stand there and look at you. Some, like, really get into it and are really good. And then you have haunts that are great but too short. And you have haunts that just have a pacing grouping issue. Other than that, though, overall, Fright Fest, I feel to go to Fright Fest is worth it. I go all the time. I enjoy it. And, yeah, that's what I like. So, anyway, the question is, have you gone to Six Flags New England's Fright Fest this year? If so, what did you think about it? And what didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments down below, and then we'll have a nice conversation down there. So before we get going, make sure if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. Leave us a comment. Answer that question. Also, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Click the notification so you don't miss new content. And we're going to get out of here, and we will see you guys later. Keep it spooky, y'all. Peace. I'm trapped in the midnight mansion with fools, Morty and Mega Slayer.